Robot Jones.
Good question. Hello everybody, I'm cocoa.cosmos, and in this video I'll be talking about something I think about at least once every 2 months. Whatever happened to Robot Jones? This is a cartoon about a robot boy navigating life as a normal kid with the goal of studying human life. It takes place in a retro-futuristic 1980s era where robots are normalized, so no one looks at him too differently except for his Principal Madman, and his arch-enemies the Yogman twins. He faces all sorts of things, such as bullies, crushes, and embarrassing moments, but his friends Socks, Mitch, and QB all have his shiny metal back. At the end of the day, he reads off his data log entry to tell us what he has learned. Created by Greg Miller, the slice-of-life animated comedy ran for a year starting from July 19, 2002 and ending November 14, 2003. The pilot originally aired June 16, 2000 on Cartoon Network as part of the Voice Your Choice weekend, which let viewers decide the next series. Robot Jones came in second behind Grim and Evil, now known as the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And although it didn't win, it was still given a time slot on the Friday night schedule. Let's talk about why you and I still remember it. Let's start with talking about our star. Robot Jones is programmed to lead an ordinary life amongst humans, report the collected data on them, and is designed to portray the average middle schooler. He even has his own nuclear family that comes with their own archetypes. His mom that makes sure he does his homework and keeps up maintenance. His dad that resembles a lawnmower and has a grumpy and strict personality, classic dad, do as I say. And even a grandfather that we're not even sure he's grandfather to, but he's here. And in senior citizen fashion, has a distaste for humans, going as far as calling them oxygen breathers, and dislikes anything he doesn't understand. His first day at school doesn't go as planned, with him getting sent to the principal's office for correcting his teacher. He didn't even want to be there in the first place, and now nothing is going accordingly. He says he's never coming back to school until a certain beauty catches his robotic eye. He's intrigued by her headgear, as she appears to have more metal content than most humans. Robot has discovered crushes. His time in school does go a bit better, even if his first attempt at making friends is a failure. He finds true friendship in Mitch, QB, and Socks. Honestly, all of them are haters, but haters in a relatable sense. Allow me to explain. Try to think back to your teenage years or elementary school days. Did you ever have a time that you felt like everyone was picking on you for absolutely no reason? That's what's going on with these characters, but with a fun twist. The teacher hates that he gets corrected by anyone, let alone a robot. Who does he think he is? Never mind that it's a literal robot that has access to so much knowledge that it's almost impossible to comprehend. It reminds you of that one teacher that always had beef with you for no reason. The Yogman twins are typical, we're better than you, so we make fun of how different you are from us type bullies. And the principal just hates technology, period. Just hates his very existence, so he doesn't need an excuse to mistreat Robot. Socks, QB, and Mitch remind you of your childhood friend group. They're kinda geeky and less popular than the other kids, but they're just your average homies. They hang out with you, give you advice, tease you, and help you out of sticky situations. They teach Robot what it means to have a true friend. And with Shannon, it really reminds you of what your first crushes are like, or when you're going through puberty, hormone changes, whatnot. And he short circuits every time he sees her, which is interesting because everyone else thinks she's gross, with milk shooting out of her nose and things like that. But the things that make her clunky and awkward, Robot likes the best. Which is interesting because at first, Robot thinks humans are inefficient and he can do things better. But as soon as he sees Shannon, he is instantly intrigued by her. Y'all know this is my favorite part to talk about. Let's talk art style. It's reminiscent of Schoolhouse Rock with the usage of large automatopoeia and pen sketching to form the shadows. It's just so cute and gives a nostalgic feel. Fun fact, It was actually the last Cartoon Network show made with cell animation, as the network started transitioning to digital art around this time. I think this really adds to the uniqueness and memorability, particularly to the character design. Nowadays, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't really see many disabled characters in most cartoons unless they're part machine or it gives them cool superpowers or something. Now, I'm not a know-it-all, so let me know in the comments if you actually disagree and tell me some of your favorites. The most recent one I can recall is Finn in Adventure Time, after he loses his arm. But I think that's the really cool part about Shannon. She has the prosthetic leg and the headgear. It's different from the Mary Sue girl next door type designs that love interests usually get, and I think that's really cool. What's also interesting is how the backgrounds don't have any color fill or animation to them. It really makes the characters stand out more, especially when robots start to short circuit when things go awry. I'm just gonna touch on Nostalgia Point one more time, because this show is very recollective of the times, and it really adds to the rewatchability factor for me. The art style, the technology used, the music really brings back good times of not having to worry about anything but being a kid, and makes it one of my comfort shows. So, here's the answer to the question I've been wondering for years. Let's start with the mid-series voice change. Originally, Robot was voiced by the Word 98 voice-to-speech software, but the higher-ups were not a fan. The same people that thought Courage talked too much, so he was reverted to babbling. So, Bobby Block was hired to be the new voice. He was the voice of Season 2 and dubbed the Season 1 reruns. Me personally, I like the original voice better. Along with this, the time slot was also adjusted quite often, which made it difficult for production. Ultimately, it was the interference of the network that resulted in its downfall. Because of this, lots of ideas went unused, like Robot building his own robot army and taking over the world for the ending. Don't quote me on that though. Though all of that happened, creator Greg Miller would be down for a reboot if asked. After its end, the series reran as part of the Cartoon Show from 2005 to 2006. Reruns were also aired on Cartoon Network's Latin America sister network, Tooncast, in 2015. I love Whatever Happened to Robot Jones so much. It really takes me back. And if they rebooted it today, I would be ready to go with whatever streaming platform or DVD they may release. If Robot Jones has one fan, it's me. If Robot Jones has no fans, I am deceased. Also, quick question. Was showering after PE really this serious? I never had to do that in school. Something else I found interesting is that some people remember the show being older than it actually was. Which I thought that too when I was thinking about it, but at the same time, I remember being 6 years old and still seeing it on TV. And that was not too long after it went off air. Let me know in the comments if you thought that too. Whatever Happened to Robot Jones is truly an underrated gem. Do you remember Robot Jones? Got any other cartoons you want me to talk about? Let me know in the comments below. cocoa.cosmos out.